Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Pro Cycling Manager 2020. It's Women's Tour. It's episode 27. We're at another one of those non-sponsor objectives, just a fun race to participate in. It's the Scorpions Ascent. So it's a time trial, individual time trial all the way, just over 12 kilometers in length with a hefty climb along the way. We really don't have any hope of performing here. It's just more of a checking in on how we're doing and seeing what we can maybe manage as a squad. Passerini crossed the line there in ninth, had a little bit of energy still to spare, so definitely could have done a little more with that if I was actually checking in on where she was at. So Summer Moak is the one who's out there right now. She's on good race day condition, +3 overall. She's got a 62 time trial, 65 prologue. It's more prologue than time trial on the mix. So about a 64 average, and a 65 mountain is, well, still not good. It's still not good, but it's a bit tolerable. Kaya Schmid already went 3.5 minutes down, 27th, one of the worst times, though she did pass the rider who was in front of her just before the line, so at least we got that. Marie is about to take off, also on a good race day condition, and I'm finding that a 73 all the way is a little too hard. You can't quite make it. But if you go 72 for a chunk, maybe a third of it, then 73 the rest of the way seems to be adequate. And you can see Moak pushing for the line here. Had a little bit more to spare. I went about halfway through. So I think that's kind of where we're at, is maybe a third on a 72. And then the moment we get to climb 73 the rest of the way, should just about get you to the finish line. So Moak goes 12th quickest at 1:03. So that's actually our best time so far. Marie has a 69 prologue mixed with a 61 time trial. So, oh gosh, what's going to be the split on that? 66, 67 probably. And then 69 mountain is quite tolerable. I mean, that's a lot better than expected. We did not bring our best riders here. Of course, their season, their calendar is based largely around our sponsor objectives and trying to get through those. And so we're left with a less than ideal team for this race. So again, the expectations are rather low. We're looking at another one of those weaker riders who's definitely not going to make it all the way. It looks like I could probably pull off a 73 with the riders who are closer to that 70 mark as we approach the finish line on this one. For Marie, attacking the line into the top 10, just 30 seconds down in 8th place. Right behind Kendall Ryan, and we know from experience that Kendall Ryan is a much stronger rider than Cynthia Marie. Oh, do it. Okay, let's push that 74 from now. Acacia Shear, last one to go, our hero of season 1. Let's see how Duet, the young, I believe lowest rated rider on our team, is about to get passed here by McDonald. And McDonald is not exactly a strong rider, but stronger than us. Okay, on to Sheer. And Sheer's another one. She'll climb well, but terrible time trial rating is probably going to suggest that Marie is going to get that top time. Will that stay a top 10? It could, but of course surrounding Sheer right now is going to be every team's best rider. And for us, she most certainly is not. The 66 mountain rating is okay. The 69 today, yeah, okay, but her time trial rating is atrocious. All right, final push, last 2K. She was 20th at 1.5 minutes down already, and she's not quite able to push too hard to the end. There we go, 15th, 1.5 minutes down, and yes, Marie was our top time. Still in the top 10 for now, but we know that's not going to hold, and it does not. She's outside of the top 10. As expected, these riders go top. And it does appear that there's still somehow a couple of the male riders mixed in. I was able to delete most of those out of the database. Some of that came from the new gens last season. This season I had it sorted out, and so there shouldn't have been any new male new gens, and I'm not seeing that, but there's still a handful of the male ones from last season that are in the mix here or there. 7th as a team, really not that bad considering we didn't bring any strong riders. That's really just management. Marie in the end was 2 minutes down in 16th as Baranja took the win by a half a minute. And again, being right there with Kendall Ryan is a pretty good result for us. Comparatively, 67 time trialer. Actually not that great of a climber, so Elizabeth Harden, another example, 66 mountain, 64 time trial. Better than most of what we brought. I mean, Marie's a 63.57. Bad weather leading to low race day conditions for this race. Another unimportant one, the Kukens van Lommel. I don't know why. For one, there's a little break in between objectives. For two, we just got through our 2 major objectives of the year. And 3, I guess my mood today, looking to take my foot off the gas a little bit and just enjoy. No need for pressure, just a nice, pleasant ride in the saddle. And so we are picking up a couple races here that really aren't, that big in the scheme of things, but just something to do for fun. See how we do. Nothing to lose, nothing to gain. So we have Bravic, who is okay as a sprinter. Manenti is not going to be very helpful, especially with that -2. Klaus is okay. She's developed. Del Sarto is the one who we would be riding for, but ouch. We might have to ride for her still anyway. And then Clevenger is looking pretty dang good. And actually, the both of them, let them ride solo with only the 2 protected riders. Do we need to protect Bravic? Or should we protect somebody else like Klaus, who has better resistance? They're both 67, 68s. They both have 65. They both have 67 flat. Wow. Bravic has that better flat rating. Is going to be a 67-70 instead of the 68. So you really could go any direction with all of that. And then, of course, there's Del Sarto, who should be stronger than all of them, but with that -2, the team is quite balanced. I mean, you have Manenti and Brookshire, the only 2 that are clearly a step below, and then all of a sudden you've got 4 riders that are almost identical in what they're bringing to the table. So it's going to be an interesting one. This is technically a cobbled race, but it's one little climb, one little uphill cobbled section that we're going to hit twice. So not much doing on that, not much of a threat on that. 98 riders in the peloton, chasing 9 in the break, 3-minute gap. Let's go ahead and scoot forward in time and get to the good stuff at the finish. Amazingly, we haven't had to go straight to the finish to get to the action. We already have a peloton of just 41 riders as we approach the final cobbled section and hit this climb. As small as it is, we need to push hard and stay near the front. It's only 500 meters, but it's 3 stars. We enter it now with everyone right in that prime position at the front, but you can see how quickly we go backwards. For now, the peloton is back together. Clevenger has escaped off the front, but it's such a small group that I fully expect that that's going to come back together. And there you go. So that's 64 riders now, so that's actually a pretty good-sized group. Bigger than it was, as the chase group, half of it anyway, made it back in contact. You can definitely see, though, we are struggling with the pace at an 86. We're still trying to catch those 9 riders. They still have nearly a minute, but they're now in sight. They're very much strung out, and they've got to be probably pretty close to the end. I mean, especially considering the pace we are going. They've got to be riding quite hard. You can see one of the riders has been dropped, Sadzo. And we'll make contact with them pretty soon. Also, enough attack, enough angst in the peloton that we have split almost in half here. You can see Manenti already starting to fade. Clevenger is about to be done and out of this thing. Brookshire is not going to last a whole lot longer. We'll go ahead and use her gel so that she's ready for the end. Del Sarto and Bravich, the two protected riders, now with a significant advantage as we prepare for the end. Two riders have gone clear, but they are right there. They're being chased down. There we go, back together. Now it's 35 chasing those last 8, and we're coming up 12k to go. So very soon we're going to sprint train this thing. You can see the front riders are toast. They are bobbing really, really bad. And we're seeing an acceleration right now. Berto and Waterhouse are trying to attack, so this is time to respond. 11.8k out is slightly earlier than we want to go with this one. Del Sarto is the quickest. Bravich is having the best day. Then let's see, Klaus is definitely the other one I'd rather have because it's Clevenger who is the fourth one. Those two have nothing left in the tank, so we're going to go Brookshire for the chase. Here we go, 35 riders. One has escaped, but it's all back together, and then all of a sudden we have a temporary split.
The finish line is getting close.
Okay, the one rider continued on.
And
where is our chasing group? Klaus, there we go. Bravich, Del Sarto are here. Again, 2 of the 4 are in pretty good shape. 8k to go. Brookshire nearly done. We've now taken control of the race here. And we move on to Klaus, who's going to keep up that pressure. 7k to go. Oh boy, she is just not going to last long, is she? Means I have 2 riders to go to the finish, but if we keep that pressure on, I would imagine most of the field is quite exhausted right now. So Bravich, even at a 90, should be able to keep most everybody at bay. 5k to go. Del Sarto ready to go. Bravich should be able to make it that distance as long as we don't push her too hard too early. And as we go 4k to go, here comes a late attack from a few riders, quickly realizing that we've got that countered. 3k to go. 2.5k to go. 2k to go. Bravich pushing more. There we go. 1.4k to go. Gets her sprint. Del Sarto for the line. It's going to be a top 10, but she is being outpaced by those around her. Definitely not names I'm used to seeing, so I think we were facing more of a Continental Pro type contingency this time than what we've gotten used to of the Continental riders, or the American set of riders, where we have a lot of American sponsor objectives that we participate in on a regular basis. So you see a lot of the same riders. Definitely a different group here. Del Sarto was okay energy-wise. She could have gone a little sooner than I did. I was afraid that she was going to fade quite quickly with that 58 resistance. So I resisted going at the time I felt I should have, and it looks like I could have gone at the time I felt I should have. But ultimately, I don't think that was going to make much of a difference. Honestly, I think half a bike length is about all that would have made a difference on, and that could have been 1 or 2 positions. Wouldn't have amounted to any more than that. I mean, there was certainly a clear top, 4 or so at the finish within a bike length, and then the next group, and then we were kind of right off the tail end of that. I'm going to wrap this episode up on a tough climb. And it's actually another sponsor objective. So we are going to have to, approach this one a little differently than we did previously. But that's also the reason why a lot of our top riders are here. And looking pretty dang good, as we've got most of the team on Fitness Peaks right now. By most of the team, I mean most of the entire team, not just the team racing here today. This is our most packed part of the calendar, and our sponsor objectives all just kind of fell into place right here, right now, because we're also only a week after the Tour de Gila, where we had that major sponsor objective. So we come in with a minor one here, which is to win a stage. winning stages is always easier said than done with
There's
this
now more
team,
than
as
a
we're
minute between them.
now competitive where we weren't before, but winning is still a difficult ask. We are getting some, but consistently, yeah, not quite yet. So what we're in for today, for one thing, it's already stage number 3 of this race, and in stage 1, Belladonadin, it was a little punchy, grabbed 3rd place. Stage 2 is a sprint, so stage 3, here's the big climb, here's the chance. It's a minor objective, so I wasn't as worried about it, which is why I bypassed stage 1 and took the low stress option instead. You can see we are already struggling just a little bit. Miyuchi is anyway. We need to get a few of these riders like Tioli. I didn't realize she was so far back already. I thought Miyuchi was the furthest one back, but she is a very weak climber.
There's an attack in the leading group.
Nope,
Some
you're at the
riders
back.
are not
You're at the
giving it
back.
their all and
Let's
sharing the pace. The
use
leader
some
of the
energy
pack
here.
is
You're coming
dwindling.
up over
A
the
couple
top
of teams
just
have set
about.
themselves up as pacemakers for the
She
pack.
will
They obviously don't
get a
have
chance to
anybody in the
recover
breakaway
soon.
group.
Donadin's obviously another choice, and we're looking at probably 75, 74 resistance, 75, 74 resistance, but also 79 hill versus 69 hill. So I'm going to let those two ride solo like that because they are so equal to one another. But if anything, Sobi should probably be protecting Mama Lenti, who's got that fantastic form today. Speaking of fantastic form, our team leader, Vanderpeet, 80 mountain rating today, 85 resistance. We actually could win this stage.
We're into the
It could
downhill
happen.
section. The riders can take a breather, but they can't let their guard drop.
Actually, looking at
The
the
gap is widening.
profile
It's
entering
now
this,
over 2 minutes. The pack really
not a
doesn't look
lot of great
interested in
riders
following
here.
the breakaway. Things have
And
slowed right
a
down.
74 mountain as a base is good enough to get Vanderpeet in the mix among the favorites, one of the top 5 choices for the stage. I believe the top mountain rating was a 78 of anyone. That's going to be
This climb is
the
feared by
challenge
many
is
riders.
overcoming
The
that rider.
percentages are very high.
Right now, a single rider out the back, and we are seeing
The pack is
Lenti
increasing its work
struggling
rate.
a little
Some
bit. You're gonna
teams
have to
can't
go
be
harder
happy
than
with the
that.
breakaway.
Donadin, another one, 75 mountain rating. Just slightly harder. There you go. So it's 99 chasing 17. That's a big break, but they only have a minute gap. And there's a decent chance that all or most of them will be caught before the end of this climb. Cat 1, very steep. This is a pretty big climb, and yet it's still only probably the 3rd hardest climb of the day, considering that the final climb comes after all the kilometers, and the penultimate climb is absolutely more challenging. Tioli, on the verge of going back. She's +1 race day condition, but she's only at 59 mountain rating. And she is here because we're in a French race, French rider. She just about survived over the top, but is out of contact for now. 73 left in the peloton. Front group is split up. Their gap did open a bit, so we kind of backed off for a while on that climb. Miyuchi, let's go ahead. Send you back, get some water. 125k to go. Oh, Tioli's back. Starting to recover as well. She does not need to be working at the front. What she needs to do is protect her team leader again. Alright, so we're going to go back for water here one more time. It's still 60k to go. It's probably not going to be enough with 2 huge climbs ahead of us. But we've got to do, something on that. We're already starting to catch some of the breakaway riders just from that chase over the flat. It was not an easy chase, and it's going to show quite early on. But we do need to set ourselves up for this big climb to come. Tioli and Miyuchi are done. We need to take that, and then we're going to very, very quickly switch this from Miyuchi and Tioli on protection to Sobi and Mama Lenti on
The pack
protection.
is slowly whittling away the lead.
So we're gonna make
Some
sure that
team
they
managers
do not
mustn't
drop back. So
appreciate the
let's
fact that there is a
up
breakaway,
their
given that
effort.
the pack has increased its speed.
Okay, Yuchi's still here, but Tilly's already going. So let's get Sobi on Vanderpeet, and then we will soon replace Yuchi, who has just a little bit left in the tank. We're not even fully climbing yet. We're just going uphill at the moment. 4.5% is the gradient. Okay, she's going to start fading. And there we go. Okay, now we protect Donadin. Donadin is not that great of a climber.
They really are moving.
Alright,
The pack
that
can't
is
get
our
strung
4.
out too far, or it's going to start
Yuchi,
breaking up.
Otto, Tioli riding solo. 67 left in the peloton, just 3 left at the front. So that group shattered before we even really hit the climb. So their time is extremely limited. Keep an eye mostly on the front, but we'll watch how the peloton as a whole is kind of doing for a little while. Now we're starting to get into the climb in earnest, where it's quite
It's in such
difficult.
percentages that the strongest can create some gaps. The tempo has slowed down. Something might be cooking.
Okay. Our first move, hopefully we can make before the top of this climb. We don't want a huge peloton, but yes, it is starting to shrink. 54. We'll let things go organically for a while. It'd be nice to have all 4 climbers for the final climb.
The pace has slowed somewhat. It's perhaps due to fatigue, but I'd bet on some sort of tactical choice.
Now 50. Now 40. Out of the saddle. That's 5K to go, so I think this is somebody
really
looking
a punchy attack.
to go win this thing solo. 6th overall, 2nd in the KOM. But again, 5K is not where you attack if you're wanting KOM. Gap is opening right now, but I'm not too worried about that because they're expending a ton of energy. I mean, you can see how bad the shoulders are bobbing.
The riders are going through
And it's down to just 10 riders. Sobi drops, oof, for a moment, had dropped most of the peloton. It is recovered a little bit. Sobi is now done, 1.9K to the top. I want to have all 4, so we're going to see what Sobi can do. This is just 14 left in the peloton, just a 45-second gap, which is not that big. And if I have all 4 riders left for the final climb, we'll be much, much, much better off than if I desperately chase after with just 2 riders to catch that front rider. Okay, so you can back off a bit. I will get recovery behind you.
Watch out, a team leader is falling behind.
49-second gap. Riding solo means their chances are very, very limited when we hit the final climb. Okay, this is enough that we're getting some recovery happening. Vanderpeet now full strength. But the recovery, Sobi is going just hard enough to make it hard on everybody else. Which hopefully will keep the recovery to a minimum. $13K to go. Okay, we got somebody else chasing right now. Let them chase. Gap's down to 25 seconds. We actually did pull back some time here on that rider. Oh, they ride on. Come on, Sobi.
There are just 10
2 riders right
left.
away. Hickey and Matsuda. Let's take a look here at what these all offer. 73 is the max one. Sobi back to the front. Alright, that's clearly too weak. There's the one I was talking about. Alessio, 78 overall. Sticker, 75. They are going for it, which means it's time to respond. 9.4k to go. So Mamalenti starting the chase. That is 5 riders who are trying to escape. 10 riders with us. That's 15 in contention here for the end. But I have 3.
And he
Where
spurts away from
most
the group.
everybody else
He's
is going to
going
be
for
solo.
victory.
Sobi, good work. Good work. See you later. Okay, 5 riders at the front. It's now 14 in contention with Sobi gone. I set you to auto, but you didn't accept.
Falling behind.
Thank
A team
you.
leader is falling behind.
Alright, we catch one of them. Went too hard. We're nearly back to the others. $5K. Gonna push
There are
just a little
5
bit harder.
kilometers left.
And then with 5K, we're
Whoa,
also going to
one
get
attack
Donnet
is
in
going to
ready.
leave a good view in its
Okay,
wake.
front group is now starting to attack itself. Alright, so now it's 8 chasing 2. Those 2 attacked pretty hard. They're not going to have a lot of energy left. And Donadin's going to be able to start pulling this back. Meanwhile, Vanderpeet is still in a strong position. Donadin's going to do the chasing. Gap's coming down. It's Stigger, it's Alessio. It's the top 2 favorites. We fall into what's next. Can Donadin bring them back and set up Vanderpeet for that final run? It's just 3 of us chasing, so we've blown up everybody else and left them behind. On to Vanderpeet. 1.5k. We're going to catch Stigger. Can we catch Alessio, though, to the finish? Have we timed this right? Into second place. We've caught her. 800 meters. 500 meters. Vanderpeet sprinting for the finish. For the win. Probably the overall lead, most likely. Red bar's gone, but we've got it. We've done it. Stage victory. Alessio takes second. We ran it well. We were patient. We conserved energy. Donadin's got a chance here of grabbing 4th place on the stage. Worst case scenario is 5th. I think we're just behind. And we are. 5th place. Malenti's going to have a good finish as well, though. Just outside of the top 10. In 12th place. And Sobi. Looks like top 20. Exactly 20th. What a result. We did it. So we got our stage victories. That's another successful sponsor objective. And of the hardest variety. Stage win. Floor Vanderpeet. She won because of the +5, honestly. But it was more than just that. Because that was team tactics. Sobi, Momalenti, Donadin. Patient work. Penultimate climb, 1 rider pulled away. We didn't chase that. That rider goes off and wins the stage. But we didn't waste the energy chasing that. But it did for Sobi, right? It eliminated Sobi from the final climb. But Sobi got us in the position we needed to be in, making it hard on other riders where a lot of riders were not fully recovered as we hit that final climb. And then we hit the final climb. And Mamalenti brought us, what, half of the way up the climb? And while 5 riders had gone away, had a small gap, Mamalenti kept the gap in check and kept Donadin and Vanderpeet fresh for the end, where the others were expending energy trying to attack. And then Donadin did that hard work, brought us back over the next 3 kilometers, got it close, and then Vanderpeet did the rest. Still fairly fresh as we hit that rain-snow mix, and we're able to attack over the top and take the last 2 in the final couple kilometers solo. "27-second victory, minute 22 to 3rd. Donadin same time for 4th, 5th, and that now puts us in the overall race lead. Alessio is 2nd. Stigger 3rd. Donadin is 4th after a strong performance in that first stage. Mamalenti also in a pretty decent position in 12th. You can see Matsuda, Chacon, the ones who attacked early on. You can see how much time they lost, going much too early. As I'm about to quick sim stage 4, as it's a sprint stage and it's the final stage, it's not going to affect us, meaning Vanderpeet's not only going to have won a stage, but she's going to claim the overall. You could see that it was no accident that we had really good race day condition. You can see all but one rider is on the fitness peak, and that rider, I believe, is coming out of the fitness peak, Sobi. Yes, she is. So she's just into the final week of it. Positive race day condition makes such a difference. Makes such a difference in this game. Managing that is huge. This is going to look good for the sponsor, so we'll see how that one turns out. Donadin takes 10th on the stage, but there's that final result. I don't know if we took anything else. Donadin was 2nd in the KOM. We do win the under 25s, obviously, and we get the team classification by 11.5 minutes over rock salt. Dang. Well, for the moment, we are all the way back up to a super success. Again, not expected to hold that high, but I think our chances of now keeping a success for the season have gone up significantly. We're down to 3 objectives left, 2-star, 2-star, 1.5-star. Everything else is after the deadline, so results is topped out. I think we're starting to look pretty dang good. We got 4 pluses. We got a double plus for the win on that one. Climber's jersey, leader's jersey. The registered riders is starting to pick up as Vanderpeet now has a bit of a popularity. In fact, wow, look at the jump. Vanderpeet is now quite well known after picking that up. So our squad evaluation has gone up a lot. We finally have a known rider, Vanderpeet. It's still just regional, but it's gone up so fast. So fast. She is doing really, really well. She's developed really well. 75, 75, 74. She's starting to become a quite effective GC rider for us. And we're still just a Continental team. I think we are headed for Continental Pro as long as we can bring back Donadin and Vanderpeet. That's going to be our obvious focus. When we begin our dossier period, we want to make sure those 2 get re-signed, and then we'll go after anybody else that will be helpful for us. But considering this is where we were at a short while ago, this is where we were at with Vanderpeet just a season and a half ago. I'm almost shocked that I only cited 2 years, both of them only to 2 years. Going, I don't know how well they're going to develop. Those 2 anyway have developed extremely well. It's the everybody else factor, but I mean, we're getting there. We are getting there. I'm Decathlon Gamer. That's going to do it for this episode. Be sure to hit that like button. See you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.